Wake up in the morning, I got money on my mind. AK-47, Glock 15s, and Glocks and 9s. Whoa! I'm back. What's happening? Hope y'all having a good day, good night. It's me. Yes, sir. Yeah, boy. Today we're going to be reacting to 13 True Horror Stories animated 2019 compilation. Not watching the whole thing. Whole thing is 32 minutes. Quite frankly, I'd rather not. So without further ado, let's get into it.
I've learned one thing from my one and only experience picking up a hitchhiker. Don't pick up a hitchhiker.
What's up, bro?
It was a Saturday night,
Don't pick up
probably
one.
around
Duh.
1 in the morning. I was
1 in the
driving down the 542 in New Jersey, a route I commonly took to
He
get
kind of
into
excited
town.
to tell this.
It was a
I wanna
long
hear it.
stretch of nothing but woods on either side with the occasional residence. I was on...
So if you drive this almost every night, you know what you need? AK-47. 7. 7. What's wrong with you?
on my way back home from town, and as usual at this time of night around
White people. I'm just playing.
quiet old
All right,
town,
let me let this
there
play.
was not a single other car on the road. I turned on the
7.
off-road lights on my Jeep
1,
to
2,
have
3.
optimal vision on
Nah,
the unlit
7.
highway, which allowed me to spot somebody far down the road, just standing
Look at his.
the side.
I'm not gonna stop the video.
As I got closer,
man, I
I saw
swear.
him raise his arm up
He
and
has
stick
on
up
those
his thumb.
Lonzos.
He was trying to hitch a
Whatever they
ride.
call them, the real long clown shoes.
My heart started
ugly
racing.
ones. You got
I had
them on.
no idea if I should stop
Is it
or not.
Lonzo? Is it LaMelo?
I
Oh,
slowed
no,
down
look,
just to get a
boss.
better look at the guy, first of
No,
all.
their dad can't hoop
He
though.
seemed like a younger man, maybe
He in the
28.
KKK. Y'all saw
He
the
had
play?
on a light gray hoodie with the hood over his head and blue denim jeans.
He probably like
the
the
time
Master
to make a
Chief or the
decision
KKK.
was immediate,
Don't pick
and
him
with a
up.
lack of my
Oh, no,
better
they in the north.
judgment
They
in
in
the
the
heat of the
north. Never mind.
moment, I came to a stop, rolled down the window, and asked,
Get in, brother.
"Where are you heading to, friend?" Just
I was
up the
close.
road, he said in a deep, quiet tone.
Just up the road. Nah,
"Hop
where you
in,"
heading
I called
to?
out the window.
Pooh.
He opened the door to
Period.
my Jeep and stepped inside slowly.
He opened the door.
Jeep Wranglers have very tight seals on the doors, so when he tried to close the door the first time, it didn't shut.
You had to close it like
I
this.
politely said, "Oh, the door didn't shut. Just open and slam it shut real hard.
Ah, brother,
These
door
doors
is
are
not
hard to
shut,
close."
bud. Open the door and slam that
The
sucker.
body language he was giving off in response was unsettling.
Look at his-
About 3
look at his
seconds
face.
after
You good,
I
bro?
had finished my sentence, he looked at me, then turned his head slowly to the right, and again waited 3 or 4 more seconds before finally
be
opening
slow.
the door and then slamming it
There's nothing
back
wrong with
shut.
that.
By the
I'm
way this
slow.
guy was moving, I already regretted my
understand.
decision to let him in.
Hey, he just slammed your door.
I
like
put
that.
my foot on the gas and we started moving along the road. The speed limit on this road was 55, but I was going 75 just to get the guy to his destination quicker.
But what destination? Oh, so Dollar Wrangler's 2-door.
How far did you
Dollar
say
four.
you're going?
Come on, animations.
There was an awkward gap of
That's fine.
silence before he replied with,
That's fine, y'all
"Just
do
a
amazing.
few miles up."
Just a few miles up.
I wanted to turn the radio on to kill this awkward
going to the
and
trap
downright
house.
creepy silence, but something in my
Going to
head
the
told
trap
me not
house.
to for whatever reason.
Watch.
Suddenly, I could see just through the corner of my eye that the man had turned his head and was
He's
staring
sitting here looking
in
at
my
me like that.
direction.
I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna let you know.
At this point, I was telling myself that I
AK-47.
needed to get this guy out
7.
of my car.
1, 2,
For a good
3, no,
mile,
7.
I felt his gaze just hitting me like a
In the
brick, and all the
back.
while I tried my best not to look back. Finally, he turned his head the other way and said, "You know, I've been wondering for the longest time if it's just worth it to end it all." I looked at him in confusion. He dug his hand
Well, bud,
into
depends
his
on what you
pocket
believe
and
on.
said, "I've been carrying
Oh,
this knife with me for the past few weeks, wondering
cool. You know what
when
I'm
the
carrying?
right time
7.
would come." He pulled out a big red knife from his pocket,
10,
and at
11,
that
7.
instant, I felt like my stomach had dropped out of my body. I told him to put the knife away immediately.
Put
He
knife
told
up,
me in a
cut.
calm, emotionless voice,
C40 on these boys. All right, let me
"Pull
stop,
over
let me stop.
next to that sign."
Who you talking to?
I did
All
what
right,
he
I'm
said,
bro.
coming to a
Drop my
stop
car.
next to a speed limit sign, and what followed still haunts me. He began to slit his forearm next to 3 other scars from previous assumed
Bro,
self-inflicted
his
cuts,
arm like a
and let out a
mean hot
disturbing
dog.
moan.
I might just be
I
wrong
managed
here.
to choke out the words, "You need to get out of my car right now, buddy." He looked at me again, and said, "Get out of the car. I want to show you something."
What? All right,
I
watch
told
this.
him
I'll get
no,
out.
and he raised his knife up closer to me as
Man,
an obvious threat.
boy, if you don't get
Just
a
get out
little,
for a
little,
second.
little
There's something I
porcupine
want
away
to
from
show
me,
you
boy, I'm gonna
behind that sign.
box you, boy. Oh my.
I knew my
Ah,
life was
sign.
on the line, and I
It's
had
finna
to
be
be smart.
Coke.
I said,
Bottle
"Yeah, okay,
Coca-Cola.
man.
I don't drink sodas.
Let's go." I opened the door to my Jeep, making
Wrangler.
a point of leaving it open, raised my hands in the air, and backed away slowly from the door.
You need to do
He
some
too left the
push-ups.
car and started walking over to my side. At the exact
close
moment
the
that
door?
he was directly behind the car,
I'm finna hop
I
in
jumped back in, threw it into drive, and floored it down the road, never looking back. I got
like it had
back
some
home
turbo
within
on
10
it.
minutes,
That's a
still
track
breathing
hawk.
heavily and wanting to
Ain't no-
throw up.
ain't no Wrangler.
This was the scariest thing that has
Now
ever
on
happened
GTA,
to me.
when you get the door
And I
open,
urge
you take off
everybody
real
and
fast, door
anybody
slam, that's what
that
happens.
if you by some chance see a hitchhiker on a
On
dead
my,
road
I'm
at
on
some
you, boy,
odd
with the
hours of
Lonzo
the
or
night,
LaMelos,
do
boy. I'm on you,
not
boy. On
take
my
any course of
marshmallow,
action
I'm on them.
other than speeding right past them.
Run over their toes, too. Just got on some ugly shoes. Thank you for watching. Ejibari.
I'm sharing this life experience of mine with the internet as a public
It's the
service
same
announcement to
dude.
be
Does he
careful
not
on
learn?
Craigslist or any similar website.
Craigslist.
I happen to be browsing the for sale
He's
section of
rocking a
Craigslist
black
trying to find a
Mac.
used laptop.
It's not slick.
One listing really got my attention. Some
Dell
Dell
laptop.
touchscreen
It's a
laptop for
Chromebook.
$250.
It's $250. It's a Chromebook.
It looked like it was in good shape with very few minor cosmetic
Why you need a Chromebook?
imperfections.
You have a black Mac.
I texted the owner, who
What a heart
introduced
attack.
himself as Dave,
That's fine.
and told me I could come pick it up that same night. He offered to meet halfway somewhere so that I wouldn't have to drive all the way out to his place. I live in the countryside, so he lived a solid 10 miles away, which would equate
I
to
said, nah,
a
you come
20
here.
to 25 minute
You come
drive.
here. Amazon, baby.
Since there aren't many notable places
Uber
near
here.
either of us, we agreed to meet at a 7-Eleven parking lot.
Wrong with you?
I got there at the agreed upon time, which was 10 p.m. sharp.
When he went to a
I waited around for a few
7-Eleven. Wait, I
minutes.
said it wrong.
Then I decided I was going to give him a call.
7.
But just as I took my phone out of
Seven.
my pocket to call him, his
Seven.
name came up on my phone. He was calling me.
He got
I
a
picked
button
up,
on his
skipping the
phone.
hello, and I just said, "Dude, what's going
He got a
on?"
button on his iPhone.
There was a loud background noise on his end.
I bet he
maybe
got
from his
earbuds with
driving.
wires.
There was an initial moment of silence before he started talking. He said he wouldn't be able to make it all the way to 7-Eleven because his car was making weird noises and he didn't want to go too far from home. So he pulled over to the side of the road off some side street. But
Uber.
when we say side streets out here, we don't
Uber.
mean side streets surrounded by buildings or
Uber.
houses. Side streets out here usually mean roads with no streetlights and surrounded by forest or
I
farms.
ain't going. I'll find
He
one
gave some
from Best
bizarre
Buy.
description of where he was. There
He
was
could have
no
got
way
one
I'd be
from
able to
Best
find
Buy
it
for
ordinarily.
cheaper.
So I had him send me his location through his phone.
He wanted that. Cool with
It
Amazon.
really
I want
was
cheaper.
just
He wanted
parked on the
that.
side of some side road somewhere. I really didn't know if I was comfortable going at this point. It
Should've
seemed
been.
way too
Should've used
suspicious.
some push-ups.
I'd heard all about those Craigslist horror
He out there
stories
whipping the
before,
cook.
and this seemed like the cliche
The
build-up
man
to
in
one.
cook.
Against my better judgment, I started driving over to Dave's location anyway. About 5 minutes of driving
He
later
got
on
a
some
coupe
completely pitch black
And a
road,
track halt
I
range.
eventually saw the reflection of someone's taillights parked on the side of the road.
That's a fake
So it
Pontiac
had to be him.
GTO. I'm on you,
I
boy.
pulled up behind the car in the grass next to a large cornfield, but kept the car running. I turned my headlights
Wait,
off
I'm
for a
keeping the
second,
car running
and
now,
it literally became blackness
Well, I was
in every
running in the
possible
back.
direction. So I turned the headlights
47.
back on. Weird though, I didn't see any light from his car.
1, 2, 3,
not even the light from
7.
the phone. I called him again. He picked up on the
7.
first ring and said he had to run into the crops to take a quick piss, and to just get into his car so that when he
I'll
gets
say it.
back, he could quickly show me his laptop.
Get in your
He
car.
hung up before I could even get my response in.
No.
This was too weird for me.
period.
I really didn't know what to do. I guess I figured I'd step out of the car and just wait behind the door for this Dave person to come out. He
Clean them then,
said
slime.
he went into the crops, so
mean,
I
sir,
kept my eyes on the right side
but-
of the road by the crops. What a strange place to have
are
any
we
kind of
looking at?
exchange other than a drug deal.
8 minutes. Hey,
It didn't seem right at
Coca-Cola
all.
is okay. It's
I stood right by
addictive.
my
It
car door
is,
for
so
the
it is a
longest
drug.
time, easily 2 or 3 minutes. There was no way he was peeing for that long. It was starting to seem like it was time to go.
It is.
I'd give him another
time to head
30
out.
seconds, I
All right,
figured.
I'm gonna head out.
In the final moments of my waning patience standing there, I thought I heard brushing around coming from the crops. I kept doing double takes from one side of the crops to the
Wake
other.
up in the morning,
Dave?
I got murder on my mind.
The brushing sounds in the crops faded away, but a crackling leaf or
I'ma
two from
pull
behind my
the
car made me
AK,
turn
I'ma
to see
hit you
someone
in
sneaking
your
up
spine.
on me
I'm
from behind my
fine.
car. Exactly what I feared would happen. But that didn't make it any less horrific as I jumped into my car and floored it before the door was even fully shut. I literally loved myself for thinking to leave the car running. If I had turned it off, I may not have escaped in time.
Oh, shoot.
Deep down, I kind of knew the situation was far too suspicious to be real. But really, do any of us ever expect things like this to happen?
Pull it off on him.
These things are only supposed to happen in horror movies. You're not actually supposed to experience them for yourself.
Yo, what you typing on?
I guess it just
Keyboard's over
remains a
here.
story to tell friends
With
and
your
family
Mac
for years
right
to
here.
come.
You're not slick. Thanks for watching, guys. Night Park. That sounds so fun.
When I was about 11, some friends and I were having a slumber party, and we all snuck out of the house in the middle of the night and went to a park about a half a block away. We had been there at least an hour or so
Whooping your
when I thought I saw
tails.
a large figure about 100 feet away, lurking in the shadows under some trees.
What kids
We
are
all
looking in the
turned to
shadows?
look and stare
You're
at the
not slick.
shadow's direction for about 5 minutes, trying to make it out.
Look at Kathy in the background.
Right about when we decided we were seeing things, the figure started running at top speed towards us. We
Yo.
jumped up and ran back to the
Gang,
house
gang,
as fast as
gang,
we
gang.
could go. And
The
locked-
swag? No, he did
we
not.
jumped up and ran back to the house
Sure.
as fast as we could go and locked the door. We could hear someone moving around the outside of the house.
You know what's in the closet?
And then someone
47.
began tapping on the windows. We couldn't wake anyone up.
Take that boy
since
to
we would have
heaven.
admit that we had snuck out. We spent the night huddled together in the middle of the living room.
I went upstairs.
None of
Went
us
to sleep.
slept that night.
That's it? Where we at? 10 minutes? Alright, man. We're gonna do one more. Creepy online dating. Never do it.
At the time of this story, I had already met a total of 3 people on Match.com.
Please be white. Please be
It didn't
white.
really
Please
work
be
out
white.
with 2 of them, and the third one I dated for 4 months.
I see the way it's from right here.
After my
He light
breakup,
skin.
I wanted to take
He
a break
gang
from commitment
affiliated,
and
got
just
the
find something
slits.
more casual. And
Oh
so I matched with a girl named
not gonna
Kylie,
say my
who
mama,
I got
'cause I don't know
along
him
with
like
decently well on the app.
He got
She seemed down
buttons.
to
You don't
just
deserve
come
a
over
girl.
to my apartment and hang out for the night.
I don't have buttons.
She showed up about half an hour
Whoa.
later and seemed really
Can't see
quiet
that.
in person. We hung out in my room
She's
in
an
the upstairs
Alexis?
of my
She's a
apartment for
meth
most
head.
of the night. We just talked for a while
She
watching
is a
TV in the
meth head.
background. There were a bunch of awkward
Cheekbones.
silences, but I did my best to
She's a
fill them with new
neckhead.
conversations.
I said neckhead. She's a neckhead.
In the back of my mind the
I'm
whole
sorry, I'm
time I
sorry.
was thinking, are we gonna kiss? Does she expect me to move in for the kiss? How do
First
I
of
go
all,
about
she
it?
wanted to come over.
But
First
hours of
night,
talking
y'all
later,
talking?
I started to realize there was something wrong with this girl. She became
Duh, she wanted to
increasingly
come over your
more
house the first
emotionless.
night.
She was staring off across the room as she'd talk slowly,
She
talking
bipolar.
about increasingly deep and
She
dark
could be
things.
schizophrenic.
Then she said something
She
surprising.
could have ligma.
She thanked me for allowing her to sleep over. Apparently, when I said
Sleep
she
over.
could
Look
come
at
hang
his
out for
face.
the night,
Sleep
she
over.
meant to literally stay the night.
Man,
She
you
got
don't
off the
get out
bed
of my
and
house,
asked
bruh.
what blankets she could use for the floor. I grabbed a couple blankets and pillows and
For
made
the
a sort
floor?
of bed for her on the floor.
I guess you can stay on the floor.
She
I
thanked
wanna
me
let her-
and then laid down on her side, facing
See,
away
she
from
could
me.
be a crackhead,
I
right?
guessed she was ready to go to
So
sleep.
she would sleep on the floor. She couldn't sleep on the
I
couch
turned off the
downstairs.
TV and closed my eyes.
But I know you got an upstairs building.
We didn't say a single
Couldn't
word to
sleep
each other,
downstairs,
and
'cause
I
she
have to
might steal
admit,
my
it was
stuff.
very
She's
awkward.
not sleeping on my bed. She could be a meth head.
I fell asleep
One of her needles
probably
might
half an hour after
poke
shutting
me
the
one night
TV,
while I'm sleeping.
but I woke
That's not
randomly
nice.
in the middle of the night.
God woke you up.
I sat up and looked down at the floor, and was able to see that Kylie didn't appear to be laying on the floor anymore.
Let me grab my
I flicked
Rock
on the
and
lamp and looked
nine.
around the room. She wasn't anywhere, actually. But just then, I heard a voice downstairs. It sounded like it could be Kylie. All the
think
walls in
I'm
my
Big
apartment are
Meech.
paper thin, so noise
Larry
travels quite
Hoover.
easily throughout it.
whip and work.
I quietly left my room and stood at the
Hallelujah.
foot of the top of the stairs,
One
listening
nation.
for what Kylie could be saying.
Under God.
All the lights upstairs were off, but she was talking in a low voice. I just couldn't tell for sure what exactly she was saying. I figured she was on the phone with someone, but still, I went downstairs to check. I stepped into the dark kitchen, and there she was. But she wasn't on the phone. She was just creepily sitting in one of the
Period.
chairs facing the wall. She seemed to still be muttering to herself.
Hey, babe, you good?
I was frozen. All I could say was, Kylie? She turned her head to me slowly, looked at me for a few seconds,
Alright.
then turned back to face the wall.
Stay right there. I got
I
something
went
for you.
upstairs quickly to my room and crawled
Wake
into my
up
bed to
in the
call my dad.
morning.
I had to call at least 3 times before he finally picked up, obviously sounding concerned.
Laying right here next to my
I told him in a
bedside.
quiet panic that some random girl from
Was on
online
the
was
other
staying the
side. My
night.
Glock in
Now
the
she was sitting in
night.
my kitchen muttering to herself like a crazy person.
I bet your dad's
He
like,
sounded
boy,
confused
I
as
ain't
hell.
told you about messing
He
with
told
them
me to
women.
call 911 if she seemed
late
like
at
she was
night
having some
online.
kind of
Wrong with you?
episode to
Now I
safely
met
get
your
her out
mama
of there.
in a janitor's closet.
Then I looked up and noticed a figure standing by my bedroom door in the dark. It was Kylie.
I know Tai
All I
Chi.
saw was the outline of her
I know
skinny
Tai
body.
Chi, Kylie.
She stood there for maybe
I
10
know
seconds.
Tai Chi, Kylie.
All I heard was
What's
my
good,
dad on the other
Kylie?
end of the phone saying hello over and over. The
What's
next thing I
good,
saw was the
Kylie?
silhouette of Kylie at my door
What's
suddenly
good with
charge
you?
at me in my bed.
What's
as
good
she
with you?
began to scream.
Ooh.
She lunged at me and put her hands around my throat, trying to choke me. However, I was able to quickly overpower her and hold her down against the bed.
No.
I screamed at my dad to call the cops. I was able to drag
Cops.
the insane girl downstairs by
She
the
in
time
a-
the cops came.
And a Lexus. You in a
The cops
Camry.
took her away to fill out a few documents.
Alrighty, well, I'm gonna end the video there because I know it has to be longer than 15 minutes. That was a legitimate jump scare. I'm not a punk in real life, but see, that's like my worst nightmare. Have a female running at me full speed, I would freak out. I wouldn't hit her, okay? Like I did that. That was just a reflex. There's fight, flight, and something else, but I think it's just fight or flight. I don't have flight anymore. Maybe I have flight if I try to force it, which means run away, get out of the situation, but not anymore. See, I'm genetically trained. Stand right here, look at you, and throw them hands. Kia, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, without further ado, I'm just gonna sign it off right there, y'all. Hope y'all have a good night.